But then what you have to understand is this. If you listen to Daily Mamadou and Peter Obi, they did not give data. They just gave assumptions. Now, you're giving some data, but that data is actually, and I'm going to come back to it, but Daily Mamadou and Peter Obi, they didn't give data. And as Deming said, in God we trust, all others must produce data. If you look at, first and foremost, Daily Mamadou is somebody that I like a lot. He's a friend of mine. But his background, he read Yoruba at the University of Ife. Now, with all due respect, I respect Yoruba people. My ancestors came from Ile-Ife by way of Iwere, which is now called Wari. So I'm not going to denigrate Yoruba culture, but I'm not sure that a person who read Yoruba and who has never worked in an economic capacity in any way, shape, or form, life has been about an Owambe magazine, Ovation. I'm not sure that is the right person to be
Daily Mamadou is a renowned journalist. I mean, for decades, you don't think he has capacity to gather data and understand the issues as they are?
Capacity from what? Because that's the thing. If you're talking about capacity, from where? He read Yoruba. He's never run, he's never worked in an economic capacity. He's run an Owambe magazine. What capacity is that? I mean, are you telling me that, for instance, now, if I was a DJ for 20 years, I can have capacity to pontificate about the economy? No, I'm not sure. So if you're talking about the economy, if you look at, okay, right now, according to the International Monetary Fund, which was just 5 days ago, I'm sure you saw it in the headlines, Nigeria's economy is now growing at 3.1%. Our GDP is growing at 3.1%. So when Daily Mamadou says that our economy has collapsed, obviously the facts do not bear up what he's saying. We just had a quarter whereby we had a trade surplus of 6.52 trillion. How can you say that Nigeria's economy has collapsed with a surplus of 6.52 trillion? Like I told you, I gave you historical data, which is what this administration is trying to do with the economic reforms, and which is what we in the PDP also said we were going to do. We had a problem with Muhammadu Buhari because ideologically we were very different from him. But with this man in power, Bola Tinubu, if you look at his ideology and our ideology in People's Democratic Party, it's almost identical. We said we were going to do 4 things: that we were going to remove fuel subsidy, we were going to have devolution of powers, we were going to have a single exchange rate regime, and we're going to put student loans. All of these 4 things, the man has done them. He's removed fuel subsidy. We now have a single exchange rate. And then he has student loan. And then with the Supreme Court judgments with saying that local government should have autonomy, we're now seeing that we're having devolution of powers. So it's going back to what I told you. Unless we start producing in Nigeria, our economy is not going to grow to the extent that we want it to grow.
Yeah,
and that is what
talking about production, Mr.